Yeah, definitely. New AIPAC email. They're scared shitless. I know. They're making sure Zach doesn't become prime minister. Smear campaign starting to work. Check the graph. Yeah, I saw that. I saw. We'll get to that in a second. Let's get to Abdul El Sayed real quick. Two things I want to talk about with Abdul El Sayed. In a fundraising email, AIPAC calls the views of Graham Platner and Abdul El Sayed a direct threat to the U.S.-Israeli relationship. A contribution right now to defend Haley Stevens and student Susan Collins will send a clear message that we will not let extremists rewrite the future of this relationship. Fantastic. Abdul, of course, responded and said, I'm Abdul El Sayed and I endorse this message. Okay. At this point, I feel like AIPAC has given up on trying to be tactical or covert, and they don't realize that they are a tremendous funding boon to candidates that they put in the crosshairs like this. So, great stuff overall. Obviously, donate to Abdul if you haven't. It's an act of desperation, but they do have a lot of. They're still being covert. That's why this is only an internal fundraising email. Yeah, I guess that's true too. But I mean, it's out now. Stop anti-Israel candidates. Donate today. There is also another article that was written by a stalker of mine that you guys are very familiar with, Dan Stalkman. He wrote an article for the Free Press, as a matter of fact. Literally. Abdul El Sayed and the Decline of the Senate is the title of the article. Yes, the Free Press is so fucking desperate that they got Diddy Dan to write an article. The only articles he's ever written is on Abdul El Sayed. The article itself is, of course, unbelievably Islamophobic, as expected from a weird psychopath like Diddy Dan Stalkman. I was also shocked that he's literate. I didn't know that was the case. The article itself basically not so subtly implies that the Senate is declining because there's a Muslim. There is a fucking Muslim who's running for a Senate seat. That's pretty much what it is, okay? The decline of the Senate is an unbelievable thing to say about Abdul El Sayed, because Abdul El Sayed is a valedictorian, or was a valedictorian at University of Michigan, a Rhodes Scholar with not one, but 2 doctorates, okay? His contributions to public health in the state that he's currently running in a Senate seat was rebuilding the health department for the state itself. But the very fact that he's Muslim and an advocate for Palestinian rights and Palestinian dignity implies that the Senate is falling apart. Okay? Yeah, the Senate, where John Fetterman works, the Senate has not fallen apart because John Fetterman is a senator. But the man with the pedigree that I just showed you is running for a seat in the Senate. Obviously, that's terrifying. There are already Muslims in the Senate. What's even his point that even though Muslims are already in the Senate, one more is just too many? No, I don't think there is a Muslim senator. Is there a Muslim? I don't think there is a Muslim senator. No, he would be the first. You're confusing the Senate with the House of Representatives. Obama. Yeah. Some of his contributions in the public health sector in the state of Michigan was to cancel medical debt for 300,000 Michiganders. Remember that. So, Unless you mean Chuck Schumer, the Palestinian. Logs, very important. What is this? Serious question. How electable do you really think Mark Carney would be in the USA, considering the Republican most of our local fair workers have? Open to your opinion. I don't even know how to answer that question. Okay. Yeah, those two doctors from Oxford and Columbia. He's a Rhodes Scholar, right? He has, I mean, he might be literally too smart for the Senate, especially in comparison to some of our other senators, right? Anyway, we have a network of some of the most unwashed and insane weirdos, fucking losers that are stalkers who have spent a great deal of time and effort trying to come after not only me, but also wonderful candidates that would help fight the good fight and would advance the interests of their constituents. But that is where we're at. J.B. Pritzker, Josh Krauscher reports, did an interview with Politico in which he said, there are a lot of people who don't like Netanyahu, but you shouldn't take it out on Israel. It's a democracy that elected him. There are a lot of people who don't like Trump. Should we be tossed into The Hague as a country because of Trump? I will not be answering this question. Should Trump be tossed in The Hague? Yes. What kind of question is that? Absolutely fuck yes. Yes. If you've done war crimes, it doesn't matter if you're an American doing the war crimes, you should be punished for it. I want to live in a world devoid of war crimes. Okay? So that's my opinion on it. This lady actually does the Israelis in English. I'm a victim. Israelis in Hebrew. I'm Adolf Hitler meme in real life. What is this? Would you support an organized plan to send all Gazans to another country? Kaya, sit. Okay. Kaya, okay. Bir de turşu. Turşu da lütfen. Eyvallah. Of course the jacket comes off for the food. What did you think? את כל העזתים למדינה שלישית שלעולם לא יחזרו. אם זה תלוי בי, לא רק שולחת אותם, בדרך מוודא שיש מחנות ריכוז שגם ישרפו אותם. If you want me to answer this in English, I would be more than happy to answer it. Go for it. The people from Gaza came over and destroyed us all on October 7th. Not only the people that they hurt physically, they hurt everybody's heart, all the Jews all over the world. And for this, I would send them as far as possible, one-way ticket. Never come back. Thank you so much. היית תומכת בתוכנית מסודרת לשלוח את כל I mean, she didn't actually she didn't actually give a less fascist answer in English. Let's be real. It was still a pretty fascist answer.